Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor. And this is the space for hidden seekers who are looking to step into their life purpose and become a thriving, purpose driven entrepreneur. Today is Monday Magic, my favorite day of the week. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So excited to be here with you. This is the video where we take an intuitive read on the energy that we have experienced, what we are experiencing today, and then call in some guidance on how to move forward. These videos are designed to let you know that you are not alone, that so many times we can suffer in isolation and feel like it's only me. I'm the only one who struggles with feeling this way. And then you start to talk to a lot of people in a day and you realize these patterns are pretty consistent for all of us. And so it really is helpful to hear that you're not alone, that we are also experiencing something similar to what you're experiencing. And sometimes what I'm experiencing is a couple days before or ahead of where you're at. And so sometimes it can even give you a little insight into what to expect. So, how did you survive last week? It was bumpy. And I am recognizing that this is an opportunity for vulnerability because sometimes when we step into a leadership role, there is this unspoken expectation of perfection. And I also recognize, being that we talk a lot about trauma conditioning and programming and how that's what holds us back, one of the common trauma responses is perfectionism. And so we also can be led to believe by our society, if you will, that if you are somehow vulnerable, that that is unsafe. And so I want to step into that vulnerability and let you know it was a hard week for me. It was a very hard week for me. And yet we pulled through, we're on the other side. And so what doesn't kill you makes you stronger is still true, even though we don't like it. So before I jump into kind of how was last week? What did that look like for me? I just wanted to say happy Capricorn full moon today, as of this morning at, I believe, 7:30-ish Eastern time. We also had an X-class solar flare pop off yesterday, which is interesting because I didn't really catch it. Usually I feel the sensitive, or I'm pretty sensitive, so I feel kind of like the canary in the coal mine. I feel the solar energy coming in, but because it was so energizing for me, I mistook it for the new moon or the full moon. And so it was fun. Sometimes the solar energy can be intense or heavy or dense or, create fatigue. But somehow in combination with the full moon, it was pretty energizing. I was sweeping the patio at 10:30 last night, which if you follow me, the last full moon, I was vacuuming at like 10:30 at night. So I'm also a Cancer moon, so very sensitive to, lunar cycles. So that was fun. Geometrically or geomagnetically, I should say, or even from a solar weather or a Schumann weather perspective, it was a relatively quiet week, which was interesting. The aspect that we were struggling with last week was Mars square Uranus, I believe, not conjunct, not, no, I think it was a square. And that was pretty surprising for me. I felt the onset of that really challenging energy come in Friday, not this past Friday, but the Friday before. So 7, 8, 9, 10 days ago. And it caught me off guard. I really I found myself asking the question, what is this? Why am I feeling so dense and so many subconscious fears that I thought I had worked through were begging for my attention. I feel like kind of that, nipping at your heels as you're trying to climb out of a hole or something. And so that's when I had a friend send me this, and she said, maybe this is what, you're feeling. And certainly Adam Ellenboss is excellent in his interpretation of that. So if you're curious, you want to look back at what was causing that, that's a fun video. So go check him out. His projection was that it would subside by Saturday. I was hoping for Wednesday. It did not subside completely. It was softer by Wednesday, but it did really stick around until, Friday-ish. And Saturday was significantly better. So glad we're primarily over that hump. Although Mars was engaged again in the Capricorn full moon that is peaking as of this morning. And so there was a little bit of a re-engagement this morning. It's very fascinating because right at 6:30 my time, which is when the moon was exact, that's when I saw a little bit of a pickup in that type of energy again. But it has quickly subsided. So last week was full of a lot of deep triggering for a lot of people. It felt very aggravating. It could have felt frustrating. It could have felt activating, which was really interesting because I was aware of the potential, right? Because every aspect has a positive and a negative potential. And I was aware that I was not transmuting the way I know how to do. The efforts to transmute were extra difficult. I love this business. I love the work that I do. I beyond love watching people heal and step into thriving and step into their purpose and break free from old chains. And yet, for some reason, it just felt like it was just too heavy. It was just too much last week. And to have those thoughts of like, I just want to quit. I just want to walk away. I've never had that in the 2+ years that I have been fully on the trauma healing train. And I guess it's been about 2 years since I started the channel as well. I've never had that moment of I want to quit. And there's nothing in particular that brought it up. It's, maybe the day-to-day grind is a bit difficult, always showing up, always being on social media. I was never a social media kind of person before this. And so, wanting to just walk away from my phone, walk away from the screens and just be in nature. And what I needed was a couple days, not completely quit forever, but it's amazing how these external influences can really press the buttons that it's triggering, and triggering is a gift, and that's what helps us see where there's an opportunity to heal or to regain more alignment to our original design or our truth. And so that's what was coming up for me, right? It's just this pressing on, what if it's this difficult forever, and what if it's always this way, and do I really want to live this way? And right, and it causes this reevaluation of what's really important to me. If I had to walk away from everything, what's the one thing that I would keep? Or if I were to shift gears, right, if I moved away from one-to-one coaching, would I focus solely on YouTube? If I let go of YouTube, would I just go hard into the doctorate and get, finish that up faster? There's so many different questions, right? And so I wonder, how are you contemplating what's really important to you? How are you sifting through the triggers and what was being pressed on? We are being asked to reevaluate what's most important, right? It's kind of like, it makes me think of like the sifter. When you're, in the river sifting for gold, we're getting rid of all the other crap and we're only keeping the nuggets that really, really matter, the things that are really, really important to us. And then after we have gone through the machinations of, the cognitive process and the monkey mind and the trauma brain and all the things that they want to throw at you, right? Then we kind of peek our head back out and go, it was never really that bad. It was never really that much of a problem. It was, the fears were, it reminds me of, how the little mouse will cast this giant shadow on the wall. That's kind of what it felt like, was this big boogeyman that was just not even there. It was just this tiny little mouse. And the relief that came in on Saturday, it was very unexpected. It's not the way that I thought things would go. But it was amazing how that weight was just, it was as if somebody took a 10,000 ton off my shoulders instantly. I never would have thought the way it came through that it would. And so even though it's not what we asked for, it's exactly what we needed. And it's a beautiful blessing and a gift when we can see it as just that, as a gift, as the nudge from the universe that kind of says, you're just a little bit off, go just a little bit left, and you'll be right back on the path. And it was that simple. And it reminded me, this process that we went through this last week, it reminded me of the process of sharpening a knife. Nobody likes the hard times. And while life is primarily enjoyable, right? It's almost a 50-50 bag, right? We have the peaks, but we have the valleys. And that's part of life. That's something that can be celebrated if we can sort of pull back and be the observer and just watch what is happening instead of getting so emotionally invested in the fear or in the lower energies, the lower thoughts, right? And not allowing that to gain momentum and just watch them. Because what happens when that knife goes to get sharpened? Yeah, it loses some of its material and sparks are flying and the knife is hot. It's burning. It feels like it could bend and break, but then it comes out and it's sharper. It's more effective. And so that's those moments where it does not make it any easier when you're in the thick of it and you're feeling like this almost spiritual warfare of all these negative thoughts that want to come in, and you're going, that's not mine, that's not mine, that's not mine. I'm transmuting, I'm trusting, I'm in faith, eyes on the divine, right? All the things we know how to do. And it's persistent, right? We can just step into gratitude, even though that doesn't always move the needle for me. Gratitude works 99% of the time. But when it's really intense like this, just finding neutral, just finding evidence of, remember the last time that I thought that things were just going to fall into the abyss and they didn't, right? The peaks and the valleys will happen. They will come, right? We will go up and we will come down. But what I found is after that valley, we go up higher. And then that's a new valley. And then we go up higher. And so it's still the 2 steps forward, 1 step back is still progress. We're still moving up. And it was a testing of our faith. It was a testing of our commitment to the divine. And sometimes it can seem like in those really hard moments when the voices are really loud, the negativity is really dense. It can be harder to hear the divine. It can feel like silence sometimes. And yet that knowing, that commitment to, I'm not going to let this overcome me. I'm not going to quit. That's the easy way out. That's not what's happening here. Right. And just looking, what am I being called to, right? Ask yourself that question. What am I being called to? What is being pressed on? What is asking to move? What am I being asked to reconsider? What am I being asked to open up to? And really look at, where am I rigid? Where am I stuck? Where am I clinging to, no, I said it had to be this way? There was also a very helpful benefit that came from this process too, was just even less attachment, right? And fully detached to the outcome. I had a plan. I thought it was going to go this way. I thought we were going to do this thing and it didn't go that way, or I didn't do that thing, or what was I married to? What was I clinging to? What was the expectation that is causing this disappointment? Because if I didn't have an expectation and I was just present, then there would be less pain, less suffering. Pain plus resistance equals suffering, right? Where's the resistance? What am I in resistance to? Right? What am I allowing? And I keep putting it in, first person, because I don't want to project it on you, right? This is about what I've experienced, and maybe you did too. And if you did, then this helps you realize that you're not alone, right? We're all in this together. And many people will have experienced this, but not all. That doesn't make it wrong. It just means it's not for you. Right? So ask yourself the question, what did I allow to consume my mind? What focus did I have? Was I focused on the divine, or was I focused on the fear? Right? And recognizing this process is done now, but if I'm still there, something's festering. I have to do the work to let it go. Don't let it make you bitter. Don't get angry. Don't get mad at God, right? Dust yourself off. Get back on the faith wagon, right? Choose to believe again, right? From a nervous system perspective, we can shake it off, right? Wash your face. I like TD Jakes. He's very inspirational for me. And he likes to say, wash your face, right? Cleanse your energy, take a shower, and imagine the water that is pouring over you is just washing away this experience from the past week. It's gone now. That thing, that boogie monster, that big shadow on the wall never had any power over you. Don't let it. Don't give it your power and authority by staying focused on it or clinging to it. Shake it off, let it go. Watch it flow through you. As you detach from it, it will just move on, right? But then from there, it is the transmutation work. It is the regrounding in the here and now, recognizing that whatever was seemingly too much is no more, that we are always supported. We are always taken care of. We have been every step of the way so far, and there's no reason for that to change now. God always keeps his promises, right? Look to the divine. Your source is your source. Your creator has given you creative abilities. You can do this. Good things are happening. This is the testing phase. We will come out the sharpest knife in the drawer as long as we recommit to faith over and over and over and over and over. Maybe even delusionally, incessantly committed to no, there's no other option but the divine's calling on my life. Obviously, this is where I'm supposed to be. And if it's not, I will be put on the right track. All right. I hope that helps, my friends. We are all in this together. The best is yet to come. It just keeps getting better and better. All right, my friends, we'll talk soon. Take care. If you need help, I do offer free 30-minute sessions. There's a link below. I am here for you. Your purpose is my purpose, and I would love to see you in real time. Take care.